Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. These guys in the Western media and now Ukrainians are doing the same way because they learn from their masters, come with all kind of very below 86 IQ articles and titles like, hey, Putin is afraid of germs. Putin meets his counterparts in a table 50 feet long. Putin is sick. Putin is dead. Putin is a tard. Putin is this. Putin is that. Putin stays in his bunker, afraid of everybody else. He's in St. Petersburg, overseeing a naval parade. He meets the African leaders. He goes, no, he's in his bunker. And these guys are reading all that garbage, and then they don't really put, things together and say, wait a minute. If this guy is so afraid, how in the hell he's attending a parade, naval parade in St. Petersburg? If you look on the map, and I'm going to show you the map, where St. Petersburg is, it's not really in the center of Russia, but on the contrary, kind of in the west of Russia, and showing up with so many people, with so many, that reminds me of Sadat. You remember Sadat, the president of Egypt, that was mowed down in that little military parade? You can still, I think, see the video on YouTube. He was in a parade over there, and the guys stop a, how do you call it, infantry vehicle, turn around, and done with Sadat. Anyway, so let's see what's going on here. So this comes from Reuters. It doesn't come from the Russians, it comes from Reuters. You just have to put things together, connect the dots. Putin reviews show of Russian naval might. Says Navy to get 30 new ships this year. How in the hell the Russian dead economy can produce 30 new ships, finish them up, because they were not started a year ago. So 30 new ships. Okay. Well, that's a statement. Until we see that happen, it's a long way. Okay. President Vladimir Putin reviewed a parade of warships and nuclear submarines in his native St. Petersburg on Sunday and announced that the Russian Navy would receive 30 new ships this year. Oh my. All right, let's see where that St. Petersburg is. Now, ignore this weasel right here with his wife, Anal, whatever her name is. Anal something, Jesus Christ, clowns. It's right here, St. Petersburg. Right here in north of Russia. So it's by Finland, by Baltic states. Poland is right here, Belarus. So it's right here. So he's still alive and kicking, just so you know. This is obviously the map of Europe. All right, let's go. 45 ships, submarines, and other vessels took part in Russia's annual Navy Day event, a traditional show of military might, which takes place in the Gulf of Finland and on the river Neva in St. Petersburg. Around 3,000 Navy personnel also took part in a parade on land, the Kremlin said, and no missile dropped on them. Interesting. Putin, accompanied by Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. Busy bee Shoigu. He flew from Mr. Woodchuck in North Korea, and he's back in business, and Admiral Nikolai Yevmenov, the head of the Navy, inspected some of the ships from a launch boat on the Neva before making a speech. Ah, man, you need a lot of courage to do that. You need a lot of coordination so you don't get the Sadat treatment. And I'm quoting, today, Russia is confidently implementing the large-scale tasks of our national maritime policy and is considering building up the strength of our Navy, end quote, said Putin. And I'm quoting again, this year alone, 30 ships of different classes are being added to the fleet, end quote, he said. Well, if we just judge by the American new culture or civilization, let's put it that way, if you say it, it is. If you, pretend you are someone and you claim I am Napoleon, then I am, right? And if you dare just to insinuate that I'm not Napoleon, you're a hater. All right, let's go back to this. Leave the idiocracy behind. He made no substantive comments on what Russia calls its special military operation in Ukraine. 4 American heads of state attended Sunday's event, and 5 other African countries sent representatives, according to the Kremlin. They were invited after a Russian-African summit in St. Petersburg, which concluded on Friday, at which delegates discussed grain supplies and potential peace talks on Ukraine. So, what do you think? They made this kind of claims. Putin made a few, maybe 2 weeks ago. I think I covered that before, but they were not the comments. I think they really dispatched. I can't remember how many ships they finished, ready to go. Now I don't know what kind of boats, rowboats, the motorboat, like the fishing boats, or what kind of boats they didn't mention. But that's an important aspect. You say, well, 30 ships, okay, well, how big, what kind? But nevertheless, the Russians have the capability, and it seems their economy is still rolling, and I don't see any evidence that it doesn't. Even the IMF came with a report saying that the Russian economy will expand 1.4%, I think, this year. That means it's not going to shrink. That means it's going to have profits. And that's the IMF. It's not the Russians say that. It's according to the good guys. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.